Okay, so I've been thinking about freedom lately, in the context of slavery, because I'm reading this book about slavery, and it's really helping me put into perspective how much I take my current free conditions for granted. When it's evident that so many sentient beings throughout history and even currently do not have the causes for freedom and are not living out the causes of freedom. So I thought just to present some facts, some data, some research that kind of gives a perspective of how rare this is. So I've said this before in other BBCs, but I'll say it again. So there are over 100 billion animals who are, born, raised, and slaughtered for food. And yeah, so that's that's over 100 billion sentient beings who've landed themselves an unfortunate rebirth, and most of them have no laws of protection. And if they have some laws of protection, they're very minimal, and that means that the owner of these animals can do whatever they want to them without repercussions. So that's a lot of sentient beings who are like enslaved every year. And that's not even accounting for apparently the estimated 8.7 million animals, wild animals, who exist on this earth. And they have some physical external freedom, but they don't have inner freedom. They have no ability, or at least not much ability, to create merit and, progress on the path to full awakening. And there's also an estimated, scientists have estimated that there's 10 quintillion insects on this planet, which means like there's a number 1 with like 18 zeros behind it. So that's a huge number of sentient beings who've landed that kind of rebirth. Again, some external physical freedom, but really no psychological, spiritual freedom. And again, in this book I'm reading about, human slavery, apparently 10 million African American slaves in total lived in the United States from between 19 and 1865. So that's 246 years of slavery for these people. And they certainly had no laws of protection. So for these people, what I'm reading about is, they endured so many types of suffering. I mean, because they had no protection, their owners could, torture them. Their owners could rape them. Their owners could humiliate them. Their owners could kill them if and when, however they chose, at any arbitrary whim. Their owners could force them to overwork, work them to death, starve them, bought them, sold them, force them to dance and sing, for their humiliation. Because they had no protection. And again, that's a huge number, 10 million sentient beings that, at some point created the causes to be born into that state and live out that state. And according to the 2023 Global Slavery Index, India, so there's the caste system in India, which is thousands of years old. Apparently, it's home to over 11 million slaves currently, including forced labor, human trafficking, and child exploitation. So you've got 10 quintillion insects, millions of other, animals and human beings in this world, like today, who actually don't have the causes of freedom externally and most of all internally. And that's just helping me kind of get that into perspective, that what I currently have is really rare. And I mean, I also see that I have this sort of view that Slavery is this removed, kind of distant, extreme, uncommon phenomenon, in samsara and in cyclic existence. Even though I guess one of the main characteristics of samsara is like slavery, being enslaved to the afflictions and karma. But yeah, I have that on an intellectual understanding, but with these numbers, with this data, it's just showing me that, wow, actually slavery is really common. And living in an unfree state is actually super common. And, I'm pretty sure, in my previous lifetimes, I have endured slavery. I've probably lived many lifetimes as a slave myself. And it's like, if I imagine what those previous selves endured and like what they felt and how much they wanted to be free, how they risked their lives for freedom and their family for freedom and their so much, they risked so much. I think I would look at my current conditions and think, wow, like this is just incredibly rare. And also, something else I've been thinking about is, how many times I think I've lived in previous lifetimes, and even in this life, where my purpose in life was just survival, every day, moment to moment, just getting pleasure and avoiding suffering as much as possible. And I think most sentient beings, live with that purpose too. And, how rare is it that we have come across a purpose that is really profound and really meaningful and transcends that type of purpose. So even that type of purpose, attaining full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings, that's a rare purpose to come across. And certainly, I'm guessing many, enslaved beings do not have that opportunity, don't have that sense of purpose, So, yeah, it's just kind of interesting to look at that, I think. And yeah, hopefully, we really take these conditions and just like marvel at them and use them really well to practice the Dharma, because so many beings don't have these conditions. We haven't had these conditions for many, many lives. So yeah, let's practice the Dharma and, progress on the path and help all beings get to full awakening.